You know, you still want to be able to play. You can't, I don't know, you can't squash the dynamics so much unless you're going song by song. But this is so cool because you can leave it on and forget about it.
Well, that was the whole idea. That was the whole idea when we designed it. It was more as engineering the studio. Sometimes getting a bass guitarist to sound good. It's tough. Like, I mean, you're a great player, and that it's all about the guy who plays, absolutely. But yet, some younger players, maybe don't have some experience. They'll tend to drive a little bit too hard, and then man, that perfect compression setting you had, now it's not so perfect.
Yeah.
So if that controls the spike, then it makes that if you're lucky enough to own a Fairchild or CR1B or a Manley or whatever it is that quality compressor you're using through the studio, you can control it a lot easier. It doesn't hit as much, and you can be more musical with that piece of equipment.
Yeah, and also you guys are mixing song by song.
Right.
The compression is going to move. But if you're doing, say, a gig and you're playing ballads and 50s rock and roll and all this stuff, and in the interest of a sound man, you don't want to peel his head off, and then on the other hand you don't want to disappear. This will kind of even it out a bit where, okay, I'm playing like this now, and the next song I'm doing, and he's not going, whoa, man, the levels are all over the place, because when you put a bass like this through a direct box, as you know, I mean, it's so incredibly sensitive, unlike an amplifier. Guitar players never get that complaint like, your Strat's a lot less volume than the Les Paul. It doesn't matter because it's going through an amp. It's so minimal. But when I plug this in, and then I plug in a jazz bass, the first thing you guys would say, the bottom end is completely different, the volume is different, and you're right about it. But if I'm cooking through an SVT, it's like, just jack it up a little bit, or just, it's a lot less apparent of the differences because it's cooking through an amplifier. And this kind of helps things out. It helps it even out a bit. One song I may be slapping, the next song I'm playing a Motown ballad. Kind of keeps things in its range a little bit. And that's really important. I see this as a really good live tool as well as a studio tool. If you're in the studio and the guy doesn't know what he's doing with compression, you can say, you know what, man, leave it to me. Do me a favor, take a line out, just turn it up. I'll take care of it here. And you give him a little bit of limiting so you're not over compressing, but it actually enhances it. And if he wants to add some compression or limiting on top of it once the song is done, it won't seem like it's over compressed. So, you got to be careful with over EQing and over compressing too, especially with bass, But yeah, because you're kind of married to the sound. Right. You kind of have to, so you want to give them just what you feel that they need, But if you give them less than what they need, then you suffer, because then, that's, your amp sounds like $1 million up there, but it sounds so clanky through the PA. Yeah, because, you got a P bass, and he's cranking 2K, and going through a solid-state preamp, and what do you know what you're going to get. It's not going to be a happy sound. But you put it through this, and it's like, yeah, it sounds kind of like a Bassman or a B15, or it sounds like there's some air. There's no air in here. There's air in there. So that's the thing. I used to work with a sound man. He said, I don't need air. We're playing arenas. I take it direct. And I'm going, what does that mean? It's stupid. Anyway, but this gives it some air. Like I says, I could almost visibly see exactly where the speaker is coming from. I could kind of see the focal point of the sound. So that's really cool. A lot of these pedals can be deceiving where you think they sound great, and then you play it in a band, and your sound went like this. Just like when people started using mezzo boogies. Look at all the distortion I can use, and then your sound disappears. Not the amp's fault. You just got to learn how to use it. You can get enough rope to hang yourself sometimes,
Right.
And you have to understand how things sound within a band. But from my experience, when I used to own B15s and stuff, again, or like a Fender Champ, put a Fender Champ against a Marshall stack, and you're going, that's not even an amp. It's not. Actually, it is. Put a mic on it, and it's as good as any amplifier. So you have to learn that there are certain frequencies in there. Some are less pleasant than others that are vitally important. You know, if you stand in front of a Marshall or Brian's AC30, it's not a very beautiful, pleasant sound. It's shrilly, it's brittle, but those are the frequencies that are needed to cut, to make that whole thing. And you're not going to focus on that. You're going to focus on the warmth of it. Just like some of this, you know, some of that brittleness that I was hearing and that distortion. In the track, if we were recording, you wouldn't say, it's a shame that bass is dirty. No, you're going to hear that. You're going to hear the finger attack and the pick attack, and you're going to hear that note, because with distortion you're also accenting certain mid-range frequencies that are vital, that are different if you dial it up on a Pultec or something. I just think.
I agree.
So, just like echoes. Guitar players like when they put echo through the amp, not as opposed to when you put it after the guitar has been recorded. That's great too, but it does sound different. Don't you agree?
Absolutely.
You know?
Nothing like a good solid Fender spring reverb on a good solid.
Yeah, and sometimes you
Fender
want
amp.
that guitar sound, and then you want to take your lexicon, and then take the pre-recorded track and do it. But there are times where it needs to be echoed and go through those speakers because it does something to it. So I think for bass it's more vitally important, because the sound we think that we love with bass is really the sound of a bass through an amplifier. In most cases. Unless it's like Stanley Clarke or something. Of course, the sound is the guitar.
Terrific. Well, we're glad you like the box, Danny.
That's awesome. And, you know, you can't go wrong with green. You're never going to lose this. No one's ever going to say, hey, is that my pedal or is that yours? Oh, no, that's Danny's.
Fantastic. Well, thanks so much for coming in, Dan. We really, really appreciate it.
Thank you,
guys.
It's always great to have you around, man. Can't wait to see it and keep hearing it.
I can't wait to play it more.
Fantastic. Thanks so much.
Thank guys. Thank you very much, man.
All right. Analog Alien, Cloud9 recording.
Yeah, man. Go get one.
The Alien Bass Station with Danny Miranda. Thanks again. Seriously. Fantastic.
Cool.
Cool.
You guys got